Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy the Bearded Biker, and today I'm doing the 5,000 miles no bullshit review on the Pan America. Stick around and find out what that's about.
Whether coming or going, Moto Nation, USA, always on the road.
So, the no bullshit review about the Pan America at 5,000 miles. There are several things that I've been good about the bike, and there's a couple of bad things about the bike. The good things about the bike: it's a lot of fun. It corners like no bike I've ever had in my life. I've been riding over 40 years, and this bike corners it in an amazing way. It has plenty of power. 150 horsepower at the crank, maybe 130 horsepower at the rear wheel. It has plenty of power, so you get up to speed pretty quick. As you've seen from my other videos, I've got a couple of tickets on the bike. Not something that you want to do, but something that happens as a result of high horsepower. If you have a high horsepower, you got a lot of speed, eventually you're going to end up getting a ticket. Not the funnest thing to happen, but it does happen. So I deferred my ticket. In one case, I took the driving test. You can see the other videos about that. Took the driving licensing course to get rid of the ticket, to get the ticket dismissed. But about the Pan America, 5,000 miles. A lot of fun on the bike. Powertrain is awesome. Cornering ability is awesome. Some of the features that you may not like is the navigation system is through the Harley app. Absolutely stinks. It's full of bloatware. If you don't know what bloatware is, it's basically advertisement for Harley-Davidson. And they only let you use that so when your phone loses connectivity or doesn't have a cell tower to connect to, you're not going to be able to get a map or navigation system up on the bike. Another bad thing about the bike, and when you're driving it in the nighttime, the controls at the handlebars, they've got no lights. So you've got to be intimately familiar. And if it's cold, you've got gloves on, then it's even harder. There's nothing to see on the controls. There's a lot of controls, forward and backwards on the music, volume up, volume down, modes to go into, heated grips to turn on, turn off. There's stuff to do on the grips and controls, and there are no lights. So when you're riding at night, you can't see anything. And it's not even an option to put lights on the controls yet. There may be in the future, but right now, there's not even an option to put controls on the lights. Very disappointing. Hard to do, especially with gloves. You got to be intimately familiar with it, and if you're not, well, you're just not going to be able to control some of the functions of the bike without lights. Need to put some kind of spotlight on it, turn your phone on it, something, but you're not going to be able to do it riding around in the dark. No lights. The TFT display obviously has light, but it's not enough to light back on the handlebars to show you the controls. And when you're in gloves, you may not be, it's just hard to do. That's a minor bitch. I realize that, but it is a bitch. Not the greatest functionality in the world. Now with the bike itself, it produces adequate light for the road, and you can get more. You can buy the fog lights. Produces an adequate amount. I really dig the adaptive headlight. So when you turn right, it shows you to the right. And when you go to the left, it goes to the left. That is really kicking. I like that. It is so neat. It doesn't seem all that complicated. It's got little lights that light up whenever you turn. Oncoming passengers may not like it, but when you're the rider and you're on the bike and you lean left and that shows to the left, you're going to like it too. There is no doubt about it. You're going to like it. The bike corners so well. It handles so well. Even for beginners, the bike handles so well. And when you sit on top of it, it may be tall, but because the bike is relatively light, I say that it's 530, 40 pounds or something like that, but it seems a lot less because it's balanced so well. So when you throw a leg over it and you take off the bike, it just wants to stay upright and it wants you to control it, so it's awesome. The bike is very great at handling, very great at keeping you at top of it. If you hit something in the road, the bike just kind of, if you keep your arms kind of loose, just pow, and it just keeps on going. I've put the cruise control on and taken my hand off the handlebars. I am not suggesting that is a good way to ride. I'm just saying that I happen to have done it. I'm not suggesting that's not inappropriate. Harley-Davidson would never approve it, but I have taken my hands off the handlebars and the bike just is like straight as an arrow. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And you can just lean a little bit. It's not an approved method for riding. I don't recommend it to anybody else, but I have done it and the bike is just solid. It's good. There's no wobble. The air management around the bike, I won't say that you won't get blown around on the bike because sometimes you do. The bike isn't all that heavy, but the air management, the way the bike manages air is awesome. So you can put the windscreen in the high position and it goes right over your head and you just keep on going. Take your hands off the handlebars and you're good. Not to say it's a perfect bike. I don't think there is any such thing as a perfect bike. Not with Harley-Davidson, not with BMW, not with Honda, not with Yamaha. Nobody makes a perfect bike. But this one comes pretty close. It does really good. 5,000 miles, I haven't had a single issue. I'm on a couple of forums and I have seen a couple of people have problems. And I don't know really what to say about that. Catastrophic engine failure, 1 in 100, 1 in 5,000. I don't know what the ratio is. I have seen a few of them happen. Mine, no issue. 5,000 miles, I haven't had a single issue. I've had a couple of random codes from software. My clock doesn't work. As we all know, nobody's clock works. It's a software thing. It needs to be updated. Harley-Davidson should have done better. Shame on you, but they didn't. So they're working on it. 5,000 miles. I've had a lot of fun on the bike. I've taken it to the Three Sisters and down in Texas. I live in Texas, so it was easy to get to. Went through, doubled the speeds posted. Didn't break the speed limit, except for when I got a ticket, obviously. A lot of fun. I can easily recommend the bike to everybody else. There are some negatives about the bike. As I've mentioned, it's hard to know the controls in the darkness. That's kind of an issue. The heated grips work really well. I love them. I don't really care much for the seat. I'm looking at getting a Corbin seat. Yeah, those are some of my thoughts about the bike. No bullshit review. Jimmy, the bearded biker. I hope to see you on the road.